Welcome everyone to the 2026 TESOL Media Lounge powered by Summit K-12. I'm your host, Andrea Cano, and on today's episode we have Dr. Ahmed. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey into English language teaching?
My journey actually started a long time ago during my high school years. I had this amazing teacher who really inspired me to get into education. He would always talk about, the importance of language and communication, and he was amazing in his delivery and in his, an inspiration to all the students. One thing he would do also would stay after school to help students, with their homework, with different things, and that really inspired me to be like him, in the future. But also, like later on in my life, I worked with humanitarian organizations. And I found the importance of language. Those with really great communication skills and language skills, they went on to do great things. They were able to find better opportunities. They were able to find even better careers. And I was like, okay, I gotta get into this field to really help people make a change in life. And that's why I applied for the Fulbright scholarship. I was awarded that. I came to the U.S., finished my master's, PhD. I taught at Miami University, and currently I've been at Jacksonville State University for 6 years.
Awesome. Oh, well, congratulations on that and in your journey. Can you tell me, what do you love most about what you do?
I love, when you make a change in students' lives. Earlier I was talking about, we have this AI going on, but there is something that AI or any technology can replicate, which is, this human connection. And we care also about students' voices. So if we depend on these tools to do everything for us, then that important element is missing, which is the human voice, right? So when you connect with students and try to change their lives in a positive way, and later on one of them comes to you and say, I really loved your class, that really changed the trajectory of my life. And I've had quite a few students come to me, so that's the most important part.
Yes. Yeah. It's always, I know it sounds cliche, but when you see that light bulb turn on for students, it's so impactful, and you're like, okay, this is why I do it. The long nights, the planning, it's for those very moments.
Very rewarding. Yes, indeed.
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about your project and the multimodal project that you're working on and its impact on students?
Yeah, so in order for us to keep up with what's going on in the world today, I decided to change things a little bit. So we are doing like these traditional essays, and I found that I could change what we're doing to combine multiple things in one. So the basic idea of this project is when students take a traditional essay that they've worked on in the semester and turn it into a multimodal text, for example, a video. So they would, as part of this, they would start by going back to the essay they wrote, read it carefully, and then also if they analyze it in another article, they're going to go over that as well. And they will select a platform that's going to help them design this multimodal text. As part of it as well, they're gonna integrate communication modes like the linguistic mode, the visual mode, oral, gestural, spatial, and because part of their analysis, they were analyzing somebody else's rhetorical strategies and how they were persuasive. But as part of this project, they are the creators, so they are taking matters into their hands to utilize and implement these strategies. So they're again, they are using the communication modes, the rhetorical appeals, rhetorical strategies, and we talk in class about all of these strategies and the platforms and what they can do to make it really persuasive and appealing. It gets overwhelming at the beginning, but with all of our discussions, and when they have their first draft ready, we go on to the peer reviews. Peer reviews give them a second chance of revising and developing their work. And then even after that, they get a chance to go to the writing center. They schedule appointments with me one-on-one until we get to the final product. And a lot of them, they get really excited about the final product when they have a video with background music. And the important part of it is everything they do is with a purpose. Like, why choose this color? Why choose this font? Why choose this background? Why choose this specific phrase or sentence? So they're implementing pretty much everything we've covered throughout the semester in this one project.
So it sounds like, well, a lot of ownership, right? And excitement on the students. So you see that, what is the biggest impact that you're seeing? Is it that ownership that you see from students?
Yes, and that is, that is what we aim to have. Like when students take that ownership and they're able to apply the knowledge they've learned throughout the semester into just one interesting project.
That's awesome. No, that sounds exciting to see them take that and create, right? We want them creating. We don't want them. And then, of course, you want them to be excited and not say, oh, well, why am I doing this? And yeah, believe me, you hear it all. So can you tell us a little bit about how you see AI impacting language teaching and helping students and teachers?
So since like the emergence of AI, especially ChatGPT in 2022, we've been having all of these debates. Should we ban AI? Should we integrate it? Should we, right? And as teachers, we've been also seeing students that would use it in a way that they're not supposed to, where they put a prompt and it generates the whole essay. They would submit it. Instructors as well that would be confused on how to really integrate it and use it in their classes. I've developed this framework that would help actually students and teachers alike. And I did a presentation at TESOL this year on this particular topic. You
just did it, right?
Yeah.
It just came from your presentation.
So the framework contains 4 components. So the first one, I call it like diagnostic writing, where students at the beginning of the semester sit down with a paper and a pencil and you give them a prompt. No AI, no phones, no nothing.
They're thinking.
Thinking. And it's a simple prompt that doesn't require them to do any further research. So they sit down and write depending on the class.
What would be an example of a prompt?
So the most important experience of your life, for example. So
something about them that they can easily write
personal,
about. Okay.
Yeah. So depending on the class time, you would give them like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, right? And they would write nonstop. And that, you can use it for multiple purposes, like to check for their growth throughout the semester. They can also go back to it and see how they're developing in the class in terms of writing. So that's the first component. The second one, I call it contrastive analysis, where this is like the critical way of analyzing AI and how we can integrate it in an effective way. I would ask them to write something based on a prompt, and I would generate a response from AI using the exact same prompt. I'll give it to them and I ask them, hey, compare these and see what are the differences and similarities. They come up with some really interesting results, because one thing they consistently find is that AI text usually does not have that soul, that voice that we're looking for. The human
piece of it.
And when they find that out, they get really excited and they discover that, okay, maybe I need next time to put my voice into the writing that I do, Yeah, they take that first-hand acknowledgement of the positives and negatives of AI. The third one is policy building. So we are used to getting our rules and instructions from the institutions. We take the rules, put them in the syllabus, and then we expect students to just follow it. A lot of times it doesn't happen that way, right? So what we do here is I would give them different scenarios. Scenario 1, for example, I use AI to do all the writing for me. Scenario 2, I use AI to just check for my grammars and mechanics. Scenario 3, for example, would be to have AI or to use it for brainstorming and outlining. And I would ask them, which of these scenarios do you think is acceptable and appropriate? Almost all of them would say it's acceptable maybe to do the brainstorming and the outlining, which is a good way of using AI.
Yes.
And all of them would also agree that we cannot just let it do all the writing for us, right? And based on these conversations, we develop policies. and they're likely to follow them because
they developed it. Yes, yes.
they helped create these policies instead of just receiving them from the institution.
That's awesome.
The fourth one, I call it like portfolio documentation, where we track the process. We don't focus as much on the product, so we focus more on the process. So we go in a writing class, for example, we focus on the process of understanding the project, brainstorming, outlining, drafting, peer reviewing. So once they get to the finish line, they have invested some time in the process itself. And also they can stop at multiple stages during the semester and check about their growth, their reflections. At the end of every assignment, I ask them to reflect. What have you learned from this? What can you do better next time? So these, I think, will help us make use of AI in a better way.
Well, I love that the focus isn't necessarily on the end product, it's on the process, because I think we lose sight of that a lot of the times. It's you have to do a 500-word essay, or you have to do, and so we lose sight on what it takes to get there, and sometimes we don't reward students or acknowledge their work to get there. Instead, we look at the end product and say it was this or it wasn't this kind of thing. So I'm actually taking in some of these strategies for my own son, because I was like, I think I could get him to write more like that.
Okay.
So I really do like that. No, thank you for sharing that. And now I can see why you're TESOL Teacher of the Year.
Thank you.
So can you talk a little bit? So congratulations first off for being TESOL Teacher of the Year. What does that mean to you personally to receive this award?
Personally, it validates really the journey that has taken me all the way from a small classroom in a remote village to the biggest stage of English language teachers of TESOL 2026 here in Salt Lake City. And it validates also like what I've been doing throughout this journey. And on top of that, it honors all the teachers, the mentors that have been part of this journey, from my high school teacher, my undergraduate teachers and mentors, and also my amazing graduate mentors who I still keep in touch with until today. And at the professional level, it really affirms the approaches that I believe in teaching, which is like, making learning student-centered, where students take the ownership of their own learning. And also it validates the research that I've been doing on technology and recently on AI, and how we can use these to facilitate better, effective teaching and learning for English learners all over the world.
Nice. Well, congratulations again, and thank you for sharing with us. I'm sure a lot of teachers came away from your session with lots of examples and tools to use. I'm serious that as you were talking about the 4 principles, I'm like, I can see how that would be very useful in the classroom, and I'm seeing how I can adapt it and use it with my own children. So thank you for sharing with me, and thank you for being here with us at TESOL.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of the TESOL Media Lounge. Remember, keep learning, stay curious, y hasta la próxima. Disfruta el viaje.